Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day here so far. What a good day, huh? Kind of a busy day if you were following the markets here today. And that's what we'll cover here on the Closing Beats. Just a quick fun show that we do about the stock market. We'll cover all the good, the bad, and the ugly. Got a lot of good to cover today, not too much ugly. And of course, we'll stay and answer your questions at the end there. You can ask questions on our YouTube channel if you'd like to. Jazz Wealth Managers, and we do this show every day. We also play a game every day. It's called Guess the Dow. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you just go to that website, plug in a guess. There's no secret hiding your email and selling it to somebody or anything like that. Just place a guess. We take privacy seriously here. So, you place a guess. If you're closest without going over, we'll send you $100. Every week we make the announcement on Fridays, let you know who won. So have some fun with it. We thought we'd just do it as a summertime game. We're going to continue, I think, through the summer because we got some improvements and stuff coming along there. Anyways, we have a class coming up this Thursday for our customers. I think we're going to expand on Nest Egg. That's a financial planning software that we give to our customers. And we did a class last week to just kind of go over the overview. Holy cow, you guys are taking this seriously. I got a lot of people. I see you in there making your adjustments and everything to develop your plan. And the reason we focus on this and kind of want to focus on this going forward is to get your personal dough straight in addition to your investments. We focus on the investments. We're, of course, investing for you and managing your investments with our expense-free portfolios. Sneaky sales pitch there. You can see them right on our website. But it's really important that while the market's wiggling back and forth, maybe we turn our attention over to your personal finances for a while and see what we could do to improve there. So I'm going to try to help a little bit more in that respect as well. So I think that'll be more of the focus of the class on Thursday. We'll see how it goes, though. Hey, let's talk about the stock market. You got the Dow higher by 372. Hey, that seems kind of high. The S&P added 42. That also seems kind of high. The NASDAQ added 152. Seems like we just went the opposite way yesterday. Well, in fact, we did. The markets basically erased everything that they spent yesterday giving up, which is great if you're a bull. If you're a short-term investor or trader, it's maybe a little bit funny to watch the markets go back and forth. And if you're in the long term, you're just like, okay, well, that's good news. I'm glad to see that. The NASDAQ was the better performer out of the group today. Look, here's what happened. You got President Trump essentially delaying some of the tariffs. And the tariffs were very focused. Now, we're not delaying all the tariffs. There's still 10% remaining on the existing tariffs. However, things that go into cell phones, things that go into gaming consoles, things that go into clothing, right? Footwear, things like that. Those are all getting delayed till December. Well, the idea is, hey, December, we're going to have another negotiation before then. Maybe we'll knock something out before December. So people saw that as largely as a bullish thing today. Not only that, it helped the tech sector bounce a little bit, and it also helped, helped those retail stocks. Those retail stocks have been in bad shape. We'll go over those, of course, as we go here. You also had small business optimism. Usually gets a little attention in the markets. Really got no attention today. Small businesses, actually, we saw a surprise uptick in their overall optimism about the economy and their own small businesses. Continue to complain about having open, unfilled jobs and not being able to find people for those jobs, which is a good sign for the overall economy. So you have to assume that some tiny little fraction of what happened today was a part of that as well. Just a good sign of the overall economy. And so that's that. Hey, bottom line, we're still in some choppy no man's land here. So let's go over to the charts. Here's the S&P 500 as illustrated by the SPY on the screen here. Like we said yesterday, you're in this kind of choppy zone between the lows and this most recent high. You want to see that it breaks above there quickly, but overall, you notice where it stopped today? If I zoom in just a little bit for you, you notice that we stopped at that resistance area. So while yesterday it was sort of my prediction that that would act as resistance, today it's starting to show that traders are also looking at the same spot. Those that have bought the markets today and got excited said there's a limit, and that limit is this prior high. So you can actually see that what we've been sort of talking about is now what everybody's looking at. And anytime you can have your mind wrapped around what everybody else is thinking, that's really the name of the game. Whether you're a long-term investor or a short-term trader, a day trader, whatever, it doesn't really matter what your strategy is. If you think the market goes here or here, nobody cares. What you really want to know is, what is everybody going to do if something happens? Right? Because that's where you make your money. That's where you'll make those decisions. You want to join the people that are about to make those decisions. So you want to be in tune with things like that. As far as bonds go, yields, believe it or not, took a little bit of a break here today. However, the 10-year came within 2 basis points of actually going inverted relative to the 2-year. So that was a little bit of a focus. I got to imagine that was on TV. I didn't have much time to watch TV today and see what was going on, but I saw we came within 2 basis points. This, what you're looking at here, is the direct 10-year futures, so we're just looking directly at it there. But it's still rather interesting how close we got relative to the 2-year there. Let's move on. We'll go over to the Dow. I'll use the DIA to take a look at that. Today in the Dow, you had basically 1.5% gain on the day. Apple was the major player in the Dow today, the bigger supporter. Well, you get why, right? If they have these tariffs being delayed till December, there's hope that maybe Apple won't get hit so hard with these tariffs, if at all. And so that was your big gainer in the Dow, added 4.2% on the day. Not bad. Notice the relative strength compared to the Dow and compared to the overall stock market. That's going to come into play when we talk about Dollar Tree here in just a second, because we talked about that yesterday. Intel even got a bounce. Remember yesterday we said, hey, that for some reason that one's just not playing along. AMD has stolen its thunder in general as the new kingpin of the chip space. And so Intel actually even got a little bit of a boost because they need it. So they needed the good news there, of course, on that news. Even Caterpillar was higher by a little bit. We didn't really focus on sort of that part of the trade war today. These guys really weren't included, but it's positive talks. It's positive momentum towards a resolution to this trade deal, which gets everybody excited. In the Dow, you had Pfizer still weak. That's an incredible overextended drop to the short side there, down about 0.5% today. That was one of your losers in the Dow. Let's go over to the NASDAQ. Yesterday, you can't watch this show just one day. You know what I mean? You got to watch every day and kind of pick up on the vibes here. Yesterday, we talked about Dollar Tree. Hey, the markets were lower and Dollar Tree was holding up, right? Yesterday, it actually finished the day positive. So we pointed out that's relative strength. People will look to that. That's what people want to find if they're looking to put money to work. Today, you got positive news on a trade war, right? You got an overextended stock. You got a sector that was getting a lot of attention today. Where did the money come early today? It went right into Dollar Tree. Everybody else sees the relative strength as well. So if you're watching, you've been just watching for a few weeks here, I point these things out, not necessarily to tell you to go buy it or sell it or do whatever, but so that you could start to get in tune with things like this, because when you notice this ahead of time, first thing this morning, you wake up and you go, wow, that's a bunch of good news that's going to affect the retail sector. What retail stock should I choose? Is it Ralph Lauren? No, that's at lows. That's relatively weak compared to the sector. Is it going to be PVH or Calvin Klein's thing? No. Is it going to be Urban? No. Is it going to be Dollar Tree? I know that was relatively strong when the market was weak. So there was already a hint of buying in there yesterday when there really should have been a lot of selling. I hope you see that. Maybe go back, check out yesterday's video if you want to follow along, learn these sort of things. Mercado Libre got an upgrade today, despite what we talked about yesterday. So JP Morgan maybe just trying to help out their positions a little bit here. Yesterday, the stock was down, big gap lower on the day, thanks to the current Argentinian president not looking so hot like he's going to be able to hold his reins there in Argentina. Today, JP Morgan came out and said, doesn't matter. Even if he gets turned over, there's a new president. I forget who the new person, the challenger was there. But even if there is sort of a change in power there, they think Mercado Libre is going to hang in there. They're not going to have any problems, and that they're going to be able to sort of weather all of this, what potential storm there could be because of their solid growth record and everything like that. So JP Morgan came out and just basically said, hey, it's an upgrade. Also in the NASDAQ, your best performer on the day was JD.com. It's a Chinese company. If you're not familiar with them, it's kind of an interesting thing. You might want to check it out. Best performer today, they had great earnings. Obviously, it was a day where the Chinese stocks, even Hong Kong a little bit here in our markets, started to rally a little bit. So you got a little underlying support there. You also have good earnings to back them up. That's about a 13% day for them. 58.com is going to report tomorrow, right? Is that tomorrow? Tomorrow's the 14th? Yep, they're going to report tomorrow after the close. 58.com, also another Chinese company. Ticker symbol is WUBA. WUBA is how you say it, if you're going to say it in Chinese there. About 4% gain on the day. We'll see. I mean, that one's going to be pretty active on earnings as well. JD.com, explosive growth there, by the way, which gives you a little hint into sort of the Chinese markets. All right. Micron Technologies, well, really any chip stock today in the NASDAQ, any of those chip stocks did well. Micron, we already talked about Intel. You got Lam Research, almost 5% on the day. Applied Materials, I believe, was one of them. Yeah, Applied Materials, 3.5%, near the top of the list as some of the better performers in the NASDAQ. You can understand why now. Microchip, 3.5%. Just a great day for chips in general. They all make parts and pieces that go into all of the products that are now being delayed. The tariffs are being delayed into the end of the year. AMD did not participate. Remember yesterday we talked about that sort of bearish stamp that yesterday puts on this stock. If you own the stock, you want to see it recover rapidly. You don't like to see what happened yesterday. Because of that today, think about what people do. They go, okay, if I'm an active trader, day trader, whatever I'm doing, making major decisions here on what to invest in, you go, where is the path of least resistance? And when you look at something like AMD, everyone, I promise you, they came and looked at this and said, I don't like what happened yesterday. You know what? If I have better choices over here, I'm going to go choose some of those other ones. So really, a couple great lessons here in the last few days, if you like that sort of thing. If you don't, then I just wasted about 10 minutes of your time. S&P 500 added 1.5% on the day today. We already talked about it, right? That known resistance area. You want to just see it break and get, powerful push higher there if possible. Give you a little hint there. Only 12 names in the S&P 500 lost 1% or more. Not one name lost over 3% on the day. Over half of the S&P 500 gained 1% or more. In fact, 58% to be exact of the S&P 500 had a gain of at least 1% or more. That's not a record here in the short term, but that's a really good sign, right? I mean, that's obviously a good thing when you got broad-based strength. Not just like a broad-based rally for the day, but you got broad-based strength. 1% or more is pretty impressive. On the downside, you got Newmont Mining. This is a gold mining company. Gold took a little bit of a break today. We'll go over to that sector there. Obviously, a little less tension, a little less worry. Bonds taking a break there. I believe the dollar took a little bit of a break today. And so you got the price of gold gets very whippy now. You got to be careful. I know a lot of people, I'm getting a lot of questions on this gold miners and things like that. This gets wild when it's at tops. It gets wild when it's at bottoms. Very trending sort of area there. And then in the S&P 500, of course, retail, right? Retail got a much needed bounce here. Remember all the names we've been picking on? I sort of today as well. PVH, 3.5% gain on the day. Limited Brands, that's Victoria's Secret, got about a 3% gain on the day. Best Buy, right? Very impressive. The products that these guys sell could have been tariffed here as of the end of next month. That delay naturally helps them. 6.5% gain on the day. Very helpful there. I believe that was one of your better gainers, if not the best gainer in the S&P 500. And then things like Gap. You can go through some of the retail names. Had a great explosive start to the day, and they all finished really positive. I mean, so not a lot going on there. Kroger, why did I type Kroger? That has nothing to do with this. Okay, moving on. Going over to the individual sectors. You saw oil really strong today. However, as we've mentioned, oil is in a very technical pattern right now. Sort of nothing to do with fundamentals. The news helps day by day, but overall, people are not going to make major decisions until we break above this high. I drew a very simple line to show you that there. You could see almost exactly where it stopped today at those highs. That downtrend line there, very important. Now, if it breaks above it tomorrow, do you want to be the first person in? Think about it. What if you're like an active person? You're watching this show and you're like, I'm in, man. Let's do it. Let's play this game. If it breaks above tomorrow, it's sort of breaking above a ceiling with less energy than you might want to see, right? And the best way to illustrate that is it's run straight up a hill, right? And now is running into some sort of resistance after running straight up a hill. If you had to run straight up a hill, you ever see that weird show with Steve Austin, the wrestling guy, where he makes people like run up the hill and they fight each other and stuff? Well, the people at the end, they got to run up this massive hill. They're exhausted. They got to get up there, and then I believe they got to grab something and run back down the hill. Most of them can't do it. So imagine a stock burning all of its energy just to get to the top of the hill. If it breaks above, you wouldn't really want to chase that. I'm not telling you what to do, but you got a little bit of expended energy at a point where it really needs all the energy that it can have. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's just kind of fun to track that with you. I like playing along. If you don't like trading individual semiconductor stocks, the SMH, of course, is one of those sectors to just broadly participate in that. The SMH higher by 3% on the day. You got a boost from the trade war comments there. And I guess, right, we mentioned yesterday the $500 million that came back into the SMH last week. At the moment, looks like those people were right? They made good decisions. $500 million. That's a lot for this ETF, by the way. Retail, little spike today. I'll use the XRT if you want to just go down to the individual sectors there. I know I mentioned all the individual stocks, but if you like the ETFs, you could certainly use those as well. The XLF continues to chop around right at the 200-day moving average. That's your large financials, by the way. Sort of stayed out of the news a little bit today. They were more on the analyst side. There wasn't a lot of news out of the individual companies. So that's that one. The airlines. If you look at things like United Airlines, why didn't they participate today? What happened there? Everybody else was doing well. You got United Airlines, American Airlines. That's the weaker of the group there, sitting at lows. I think Delta participated. Yeah, about 1/3% on Delta. Overall, though, not participating with the markets. Well, you got really strong oil in there, and you have people with better areas to put their money, right? If you had to choose between American Airlines or Microsoft or something, right? Strongest name in the Dow right now, just incredibly powerful there. If you had to choose, where are you going to put your money, right? So I know discounts are attractive, but when everybody else is full steam ahead and nobody's going and buying the discounts, that's because everybody sees the easy money in all those forward momentum type names there. You got to be able to spot that stuff. In emerging markets, got a much needed bounce here today, 1.25%. A lot of this based on that China news over there. 31 or 32% of the emerging market ETF, this emerging market ETF, EEM, is Chinese based. And that's up for debate, right? Is that an emerging market? It's kind of weird, right? Is that a developed market? Maybe they were emerging, but aren't they, sort of a developed market now? So there's that argument there. But nonetheless, today you got a little positive gain on there. Even Hong Kong, which is going through all kinds of grief right now, had a little bit of a gain on the day. A lot of volume trading over there, only because I guess we're working on a resolution. It seemed like some flights were able to get back started there at that Hong Kong airport. At least they're getting control over that. So a little bit of bullishness there. Overall, that sucker is beaten down. All right, what do we got here? 29 new 52-week highs today. 8 sectors were represented in this group. That's a record for the last 2 weeks that we've seen that. Normally it was just a handful of sectors. We talked about utilities, we talked about retail, utilities and REITs in there as well. Over the last few days, those have been some of the leaders. Today, we've got a little bit of a spread. We got 8 different sectors in the S&P covered in the 52-week highs. But you still have your EXR, that's your extra storage space, new 52-week highs again. Essex Property, this is the residential REIT, again, hitting 52-week highs there. And then Tyson's a great example of one of those. I like to point these out to you. They make a new high, but they just fade away throughout the day. Why is that? Why would a stock hit 52-week highs, come up on everybody's radar? I'm not the only one that looks at this stuff. Come up on a radar, but not get any follow-through. What's the deal there? Well, when you look at it, it's already been a little bit extended. It's not a consistent move like this over here. These are real slow and steady moves that stay tight to the moving average, that give people a real reason why they could continue to add to their position. Here, you got a little bit of a rocket ship, people getting excited after a technical breakout there that people like to follow. And so in the meantime, when it hits a 52-week high, there are those people chasing it, but all the smart money's already in, and they're just sitting back waiting. So all of a sudden, no buyers? Oh, we kind of float back down again. So Tyson, really good example of things like that. Anyways, you got new lows here on the day. Now, all of the new lows that actually did hit new lows, like Ralph Lauren, finished positive. It's been a while since we've seen that, where they closed, or they poked down there, hit new 50-week lows, triggered the radar, and then finished positive. Nordstrom added almost 2% on the day, but briefly today it did poke down to new lows. Macy's, Tapestry, they all did the same thing, finishing positive, so that's okay. On the downside, you still have some of those oil names that just can't get up off the ground. Helmerich Payne is, this symbol is HP. It's Helmerich Payne. It's the oil company, not the computer company. Still very much weak, hitting 52-week lows and closing at lows. That's not a good sign. You got oil higher today. You had basically everything participating, and you've got this one floating away. There is something a little bit deeper going on underneath the surface. Schlumberger hit 52-week lows as well, but any of the oil names aside from Helmerich Payne, they were able to at least finish a little bit positive on the day, so that's pretty good there. Let's go over a couple names, and then we'll take your questions if you have any. Uber, I believe, did it go to 36.06? Low of the day, 36.12. So it came within 6 cents of hitting all-time lows today. Wow, not looking good. We covered that one yesterday. Not much reason to keep going into that one. CBS officially merging with Viacom. That's been a long-fought battle, so not a lot of movement there in the stock just because everybody's sort of seen that. Viacom gets all the action today. They are the ones being absorbed. Congratulations, by the way, to her for doing that. That's been an interesting fight. Oh, Tilray. This is your pot stock reporting earnings after hour. I believe they were lower. 43 and change. Yep, so going to erase basically what happened today. Tilray lower. They lost more than expected. So they were already expected to lose money. I think it was like 26 cents. They lost 32 cents. Revenue came in better than expected. And this is the sort of theme of this last earnings season. Revenue's getting better for people. Their top line number getting better and better and better. Bottom line number not getting better, right? They're not making as much. They're growing, they're just not making as much. And so that's been the key story here for earnings season. And unfortunately, I think it's a key metric for a lot of personal finances as well. A lot of us are earning more, but as far as bringing in more dollars, but those dollars just aren't counting towards our personal profit as much as expected. I'm going to focus on that a little bit, I think, here in some videos coming up. Anyways, that's that. Remember, this week is the unofficial sort of end to earnings season there with Walmart reporting on Thursday. That's now the theme. You understand the theme of the earnings season so far. And, Goldman Sachs isn't very positive on the next earnings season, so we'll see what happens there. A couple bits of things in the news while you're typing your questions if you have them. Just came out, actually, that Facebook was busted. They are translating your audio chats in Facebook Messenger. They were paying hundreds of contractors to translate your conversations. For what? What's the need for that? Why are we wasting our money on that? Well, the contractors started to figure out that it was Facebook. Facebook didn't even tell them what it was. They just said, translate this and get it back, or transcribe this and get it back to us. Contractors started coming out little by little going, I think something's going on here. That's not good news for Facebook. Snapchat's got new spectacles. Oh boy. You guys gonna wear these things? Those glasses that have, now they have 2 cameras on them so you can wear these? It's kind of cool if you ask me, but remember last time Snapchat tried this, they lost a ton of money. And even though they lost a ton of money, they still spent $1.2 million on a New Year's Eve party. And I don't know. I wish them the best. I think glasses that had that capability would be pretty sweet. But they're going to be more costly, and they better sell a lot of them because remember they lost a lot of money last time. I can't remember, $40 million, $50 million, something like that. They had to write off because of that. In personal finance news, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they are now going to be required to use Vantage Score in addition to your FICO score or in addition to your FICO score. But remember, Vantage Score, if you don't know, we don't have to make this a big deal. Vantage Score is owned by the 3 credit bureaus. So this is their way of lobbying to kick out Fair Isaac. In my opinion, I don't have anything to back that up. But it's sort of being presented, or will be presented to you guys as, well, you now have Vantage Scores that you can use as well and maybe help you qualify for a lower rate, etc. Wait a minute, it's owned by the very people, the 3 major bureaus there. So is it not consolidation versus having more choice? I think it's more consolidation. That's my thing. And if you live in Texas, apparently it's pretty hot in Texas. Aw, I feel bad for you. People in Texas, they think it's hot. Here in Florida, boy, it is hot and sticky. It's nasty here. Power in Texas temporarily went over $9,000 per megawatt. They're having a major problem there. If you're in Texas, you probably know what's going on. Wish you the best over there. Hoping for some snow for you. All right, what do we got? Bob Wright, technical analysis of self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why there's no such thing as like a strategy. You know what I mean? Like you can, my strategy is I wait for this to happen. When this happens, I buy and somehow I'm successful. No, you just happen to hone in on something that everybody likes to look at. So Bob's got a point there. It's just one of those things that you want to see what everybody else is doing. So if you ever go to a class and they tell you, we're going to teach you exactly when to buy or sell stocks, it's very likely you could just figure that stuff out on your own, do some basic YouTube searches. It's just what everybody's looking at. Breakouts are a great example. We all look for the same thing for breakouts. So when everybody rushes to a breakout, it's not because you somehow are a great stock picker, but if that helps you in your head and builds confidence, and that's great. Yeah. You can't transcribe your Facebook if you don't have one. Yeah, I'm not sure why people would have audio chats. I don't really use that, I guess, but what are we talking about? Don't you just post like a picture of what's going on and try to make everybody feel bad for all the stuff you have? Isn't that what we really do? I'm not sure why we were talking about it. Why would we need to talk? But, oh, Amazon and Google, by the way, have reportedly been doing the same thing with your Alexa, transcribing that stuff. Now that I believe. Now that seems obvious. I don't see the problem in that. Like if you're just walking around your house like, I'd sure love to get a discount on a cruise. Man, I'd sure love to get a discount on a cruise. If only Royal Caribbean would make me an offer to go on a cruise. Man, I sure love Royal Caribbean's new Coco Cay. Like if you said that, you could sort of trick the speaker, right? And eventually your email would be like, here's 20% off a cruise. And be like, ha, thanks. I didn't even have to do the research. I got a 20% off a cruise. Anyways, sidetrack. How do you feel about the spider for this week? Key levels. Key levels are the highs today and the lows from last week. Simple as that. We're stuck in that range till we break above or below that. You just have no reason for technical traders or the bigger guys to say, okay, I've got to commit more. If we break above it, they go, okay, I've got to commit more. I can't miss out. It's got to be a good month. I want to show good returns to my boss. And then if we break below, then people go, that's it. 200-day moving average is next, which is not far below, but yeah, you get what I'm saying there. PayPal, yeah, they did well today. Guggenheim, was it Guggenheim that came out today? There was a pretty good, yeah, Guggenheim came out today and upgraded PayPal. Yeah, a lot of positive things there. I don't have to read through all that. And so the stock added another 3.25%. Helps that there was just a good day in general. But yeah, nice little bounce there, helped by analysts sort of giving you that all of the go-ahead that I cannot. Yep, Shopify, yeah, they're doing well. AAL, you see it as a discount. You're looking to buy this long-term. Is this bottoming? We talked about it yesterday. It's a tough place to assume that you are magically going to just see this thing reverse. Today's not a good sign either. I think if you were looking to buy it at a discount, you would hope that it breaks the lows in a more official kind of way and just busts through there and causes panic and attention for a while. You know, some people got some stop losses there at that May low. You also have people that will just give up and say this thing's just not going to be a winner for a while. Same comments as yesterday. You don't actually have to guess the bottom in this one. You can let it rally first and let it show you some strength, then give it a shot there if that's what you want to do. That's just kind of how I feel about some of these. When they fall off a cliff and you go, okay, well, Jesus, look at this, like Dollar Tree. What an amazing drop here. Okay, that happened really quickly. I don't have to wait very long, right? I got a chance to just kind of dive into something like that. He already feels bad about all the stuff you have. Isn't that the truth? So many people are like, look at my new whatever. And then you're the one that feels bad because you got to pay for it. Everybody else is like, nice car, dude. Do you trust today's rally? Big ups and downs driven by news, tweets, earnings. I think today's rally puts a little bit of this trade thing on the back burner and lets us get back to earnings. Unfortunately, earnings have not really been like a stellar, oh my God, let's go celebrate kind of earnings season. It's wrapping up here, so you just have a lot of this end of summertime volume coming in, and I'll just continue to say that. I think you're going to see that volatility here. Any little thing becomes something to focus on, and we haven't even touched on the politicians yet. Very quiet. I know that the Democrats had the debate a couple times now, right? The 2-night debates there, and they have yet to really make the headlines. And what happened to Howard Schultz? Where'd he go, right? Thought that guy was going to run for president. All of a sudden, it's like they just can't get into the headlines. Well, they will. And when they do, that'll become a new thing for everybody to focus on. So you're going to see, I think, more volatility going through the end of the month and into September as well. Yep. Sorry if I missed some of your questions there. Statistically, is there a better day of week to dollar cost average? Meaning to if you had to invest every single week. So they say if you like buying on the way down, then Mondays, just small margin, very, very small margin. If you like buying on the way ups there, then it's Friday. But again, a very small margin. Statistically, really, like, does it matter if you get in Monday or Friday? Really doesn't. It's just such a small advantage. The biggest advantage is doing weekly over monthly. If you do invest every week, there's a decent advantage over a 30-year period there for that person that simply chooses to do it every week instead of every month. So that I really, really focus on for people. Mm-hmm. We did a study a while back. We keep saying we're going to go back and dive in and make that one different, but so many other cool things I want to work on. Cool. Is Walmart exposed in tariffs? Absolutely. Now, how that affected them last quarter, remember, when we see their earnings, there's a lot of good news right now. That's not what they're going to be reporting. So that could have a little effect on the market. Remember, these guys are reporting earnings from the last quarter, not like right now. A lot of people, a lot of beginners tend to go like, hey, what happened? I thought everything was good. Hey, Dustin, notice the closing beat where the video ends up recording twice. Yesterday, near the end, beginning and played again. I think there was some sort of cutout yesterday. Yeah, usually it should just be one video there, but something did happen yesterday. I agree. What's your thoughts on the inverted yield curve? Well, statistically, depending on which pair you're looking at, it either makes a huge difference or really no difference at all. So it depends. We did a class on that to cover 3-month to 10-year, 2-year to 10-year, and it just depends on what you like to look at. And that's unfortunate because when the 3-month to the 10-year went inverted, all of a sudden it was like, the world is ending, that's it. But that's not, that one doesn't matter. Like, nobody looks at that one. Still not the greatest stats, but it's like, why are we working on that? It's weird. So the 10-year, 2 basis points away from getting under that 2-year, if that happens, now you've got a reason for people to start a clock, right? A real clock that has historical merit and is taught in economic schools all over the world, things like that. So not there yet, but we got close. Yesterday we were within 6 basis points. Today we're within 2, so we're crunching down real quick. Maybe that becomes what we focus on here if that happens. Do you suggest single stocks or mutual funds for long-term investing? Personally, I like to build portfolios out of stocks only because we don't have any costs here at Jazz. So when you look at the portfolios on our site, think of them as mutual funds because they're all just made up of stocks anyways. But for the retail investor, it's difficult, right? You can't take $2,000 and just magically spread it out in some big diversified way if that's what you want to do. So I'm a little bit biased there just because we have the ability to do that, and it's a great advantage, right? So in the beginning, you may have to start with mutual funds. Just remember, those are just made up of stocks as well. So it's not that you're not participating in stocks. There just may be a little extra cost in it that you normally wouldn't have to pay. Sorry. Maybe tomorrow it'll invert? Yeah, maybe. I mean, at this pace, it should be like right about now. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you guys had a great day. We'll see what tomorrow has to hold out. By the way, tomorrow, would you expect the markets to be much higher or much lower, right? You really wouldn't expect a whole lot. Think about it. If we break above that high, you get a little positive day. If we end up starting to retrace what happened today, you get a little negative day. No one's expecting tomorrow to erase today or to duplicate today. So just keep that in mind. We'll see what happens there. I hope I'm wrong and we just blast off, but we'll see what happens. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow to cover it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.